So today's the first day of qualifying for 100-yard bench rest. We only start a bit later in the day, so we're having a relaxed morning here. Got some smoked salmon for breakfast. The Swedes obviously asked for that. And we've got all the guys here just chilling, relaxing a bit, getting ready for the morning. So yeah, we're gonna get going in probably an hour or two and head down to the range and hoping for a good day. Looks like there's a storm coming in, and this might actually affect the trajectories that we've been validating over the past day or two. You know, as it cools down, the air becomes denser, so the shots might drop a little bit lower than usual. But it's not going to make a difference today, because with the bench rest, you know, you've got your sighted targets, you can figure that out. I suppose I just have to use the conditions today at the bench rest to validate the difference in the trajectory, so that tomorrow, when the PRS and the speed comes where you're shooting at different distances, I don't be caught out by surprise. But yeah, it does help to have my Kestrel. I can figure this stuff out on the, you know, Kestrel's got the barometer and figure out density, altitude and all of that, which helps a lot. I just might have to redo my turret tape, but no biggie there. You got to be prepared for these things, and I don't think it'll be a problem.
We're hiding pellets.
we always a few short every
pellets
year.
Have a way of just disappearing.
The first day of the competition actually started with 25 meter, which I didn't really take part in because, well, I just don't enjoy 25 meter at all. But as expected, there were a lot of raws, a few day states and FXs. I was expecting a raw to win this actually, because usually the raws dominate the 25 meter, but Tim Gillingham ended up taking first place with his impact shooting JSB Monsters, with Esteban from Chile in second place also shooting an impact. This surprised me a lot because FXs don't have the best reputation at 25 meter, but clearly they're doing something right.
I feel like this is probably the most anticipated airgun event of the year. It's a great way to meet new people and network with people you normally wouldn't be in contact with. So I encourage you guys to do that.
We then moved on to the 100 yard, and for this discipline we shoot 2 qualifying rounds, one today and one tomorrow, and because there were so many shooters we have 5 heats in pro class. The top 20% from each heat go through to the final, and they do it this way because the conditions can change drastically between heats. On this first day we went from sunshine to thunderstorm in a matter of seconds. It was absolutely insane. I hung around for the first few heats, and the first thing that struck me was that almost every gun this year was extremely customized. And this is awesome to see because guys are realizing that a huge variety of aftermarket parts out there can be used to their advantage. For example, last year there were 1 or 2 guys with double bottle guns. This year double bottle guns were everywhere, and not just 480cc but 580cc, which makes up almost 1.2 liters of air, and means that air consumption wasn't such a concern with a 30 cal. And this helps a lot because 30 cal is by far the most stable pellet for 100 yard bench rest. The 22s and 25s actually really suffered this year despite having similar BCs to the 30s. There were also many guys using Ernest Rowe's high power kit on their impacts, shooting 44 grain pellets at 950 feet per second plus. These guys all did very well, so it obviously gave them some kind of advantage despite my concerns that they may destabilize at these high speeds. I don't have much experience with 30 cals, so I played it safe and left the high power kit off, but next year I think I'll be using one. I spent quite a lot of time watching the previous heats and trying to understand the wind conditions, and eventually I decided to not even use wind flags. The wind changes so much between you and the target that the best thing to do is to actually watch your pellet in flight and to look at your sighters. And that's exactly what I did. I did not look at the wind flags through the entire competition. When I started shooting in Heat 4, the wind died down quite a lot, so I knew it was going to come down to 10s and Xs, so I took my time trying to get my cheek weld and recoil consistent for each shot, and this was actually a mistake because I took a little bit too long, and halfway through the heat the wind picked up like crazy, and I had to fight for my points at the end.
So we've just finished with day one of the Benchrest. It went really good. I was pretty happy with the score that I shot, but there were some really high scores on my heat, so I'm not sure if it's like within qualifying or not. But that's what the second round's for. So hopefully tomorrow I can bring my score up a bit. We have a really nice catered dinner tonight. Some nice chocolate cake, salad, some delicious meat over here. So it should be really good. We had everyone over, we invited everyone over for a nice party here at the big house. Everyone from the industry. So it's going to be a great time of bonding, and hopefully we can have some hot tub time later tonight with all the guys like we had last year. Yeah, just sharing stories, laughing, having fun. You know, we're a bit serious when we're shooting, but this is what it's really about: the camaraderie, the gathering together, and just having fun. We have speed silhouette tomorrow morning. Well, not speed silhouette, the speed challenge, which is kind of like speed silhouette extreme Benchrest, but it's a whole lot of different courses that you do. So it's like a 4-hour competition or something crazy like that. So all the guys are busy practicing here. We're looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. And of course, we've got some guys showing off their toys. Like for example, the Simmons boys, who always come up with interesting stuff. They've got this pump action.
I shoot the third one in center.
Gun over here.
Nice. Get that, yeah.
Let's see how Claudio does it.
Yeah, so
Get on it. They're getting knocked them all down.
where's this? What is this?
It's crazy. Yeah, these guys, Simmons boys, are always coming up with new interesting stuff.
Thane from Sabre Tactical was showing off the new ambidextrous cocking lever that him and Donnie designed for the Impact, and it was gaining quite a lot of attention. And we also had Travis from the NRL over to check out our sport of air gunning, and he seemed to be enjoying himself a lot. We dished up a delicious looking dinner and then headed downstairs as Michael from Rat Sniper Slugs had something cool to demonstrate.
But just to give you an idea, I mean, they glow. You can see them well past 100 yards through the scope. Here, I'll hit it really quick. They're bright, man. So this is 30 cal, 45.4 grains. So it's the same weight just about as a JSB pellet. And you don't need to pre-charge these. This is a load and shoot system. There's a suppressor system. I'm working with Donnie. This is just a prototype, but it works fantastic. So once everybody's here, I'll load some up and I'll let people go through and take some shots. This suppressor system is basically a Tatsu monocore, and inside here I have an electronic illumination unit. It's rated to 30 rounds per second, and with 4 AAA batteries, it's good for 100,000 rounds. So when you fire, it goes through the monocore, which bleeds off the air, keeps the gun quiet. There's sensors inside there that activate the light flash when the bullet passes through. And all you do is there's a little button. If you guys want to shine some light on here or something and take a peek, there's an on button right there, and that little light's going to flash green to indicate that it's on. The unit will automatically turn off after 40 minutes of inactivity, but it's just to save the battery.
I think somebody upstairs is hitting buttons while I hit these.
Oh, you're kidding! That's cool. That's insane.
1, 2, 3. Oh yeah!
Higher.
One more.
Higher. Do it again!
Oh! Oh! Wow! Holy cow!
Frederick,
I love this badass, dude.
Racer slugs were cool, but that was just the beginning of a very fun night. Nicole figured out how to get the bowling alley working, so everyone gravitated towards the bowling alley, and a long night of bowling ensued.
Look at this. This is inside a house.
Here on this one, so we're safe.
What do we got going on here?
Now, you see there's bumpers here, so we can do a trick shot. So we got to do a double bank and then put them down. What do you think of that? So you
So we've got the speed challenge this morning. It's kind of like precision marksman challenge. The course is very, very similar, but instead of having to hit every single one the first time, you have second chance to hit it, and the moment you've managed to hit everything, you stop the timer, and whoever wins out of the two gets a point. So as you can see, we've got targets out here at a lot of different distances. We've got some know your limit targets, which are, you know, starting bigger and getting smaller and smaller, which is going to be really interesting. I do think that 30 caliber gives you a big advantage, firstly because you can see where your pellet is flying and hitting, so you can make corrections, and secondly because some of those smaller know your limit targets are just a rod, and a 30 cal gives you a lot of space to, you know, you just have to nick it on the edge and it counts as a hit, whereas a 22, for example, you'd have to middle it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is one of my strong points. Yeah, so even if the Benchrest goes terribly later today, at least I know that there's something that I can do well. So we'll see how it goes.
The speed challenge is probably the most fun event of the competition, but it really tests your shooting skill. There are targets anywhere between 20 and 80 yards that have to be shot in sequence, so you've got to know your hold, and there's usually a mandatory mag change somewhere in there as well. You shoot against another person in your squad, and whoever hits the stop plate first wins the round. There were actually about 10 different stations, and at the end of the course your total is added up, and the top few guys from each squad move on to the finals on Sunday. I ended up qualifying top of my squad, so I knew I was in the final, but we still had the next 100-yard Benchrest card to shoot that afternoon, so I got back to business and put all my focus towards that. The second qualifying card went really well for me. I ended up qualifying at the top of my relay along with Esteban, who just beat me on X's, and I can contribute a lot of that to my setup. I was extremely happy with everything. I knew exactly where each pellet was going to land, and the Athlon Aries ETR scope was super solid and crystal clear, so it was just up to me to do my part. At the end of a long day, and after not getting much sleep the night before, we enjoyed our sushi dinner before heading off to bed early, resting up for the precision rifle shoot and slug competitions the next day.